Hi yogis, this is just a short tune in, just when you need a quick tune in before continuing with your day, a bit of a reset. Maybe you've not got your yoga in that morning or the night before and you just need that quick restore the equilibrium. So I'm just going to come actually just to sit in, not in half lotus, but actually in sort of a version of Virasana. With knees together and calves parted. Little brick there. You don't need a brick there. Or you might. Brick makes it a bit easier. Without the brick you'll feel more happening in the upper quadriceps. Hands on the thighs. Breathe in, lengthen the spine. Breathe out and just close your eyes or look down the bridge of the nose. And we're just going to have a few breaths, about 6 to 8 breaths, just to restore the equilibrium to the central nervous system. Brilliant. And from there, bringing it to a squat pose. So again, you might have a brick for a squat. You might be someone who squats with your bum on the floor, like this. Or you might get rid of the brick. So heels turn in a bit, toes turn out a bit, about hip distance apart with the heels. Breathe in, lengthen the spine. And again, you can just have a kind of a downwards gaze. And just welcoming that openness in the, I would say openness actually, but it gets right into the insertion point of the hip. Brings a stretch into the lower back and that kind of latent strength coming up the spine and the surrounding muscles. So in a good position here to take it into a hand balance if that is something that's in your practice. If not, so it's because I've got my elbows here, inside my knees, and I'm ready. So ready to go into low bakasana, low crow, in that position ready. So I'm going to make that kind of hand shape, little bit of a suction cup, little bit of a softened knuckles, so I've got that grip point through the fingertips. Push the elbows into the knees and the knees into the elbows. Point the toes back, look ahead. You could be learning this pose, you could be just tucking the toes of one foot back at a time. And then that preps you nicely for the higher bakasana, kind of the flying crow, if you like, where again you really want that kind of suction cup, that softened knuckles, so you've got that point in the fingertips to grip if you need to. And this is where the knees kind of come to the upper arms. We're trying to stack joints, so we're trying to stack wrists, knees and hips, getting the hips as high as you can, looking ahead, bringing the heels to the bum, and we're flying it. Coming out into an up dog or a cobra. Breathe in. Breathe out, release the shoulder blades. I'm going to have a glance over each shoulder here just for a little twist. And then take it into a downward dog, hands wider than shoulders. Push the chest, lift the bottom, head heavy. If you didn't want to fly that bakasana and you're thinking, what am I supposed to do here? There is another option where you bring the crown down, so you've got the hands and the crown for support, and you find the triceps with the knees. So that gives you more points to balance on if you don't mind going on your head. So I'll demo that. And if you just don't like being on your head, but you still want to get a bit of strength in there, particularly arm strength, I'd maybe say come into a plank in the forearms, a forearm plank. And you could again then lower that into a cobra or an up dog. Breathing in, breathing out. Back into downward dog then, so kind of bringing it all back together. So if you've got little time, just checking in with strength, bit of suppleness, bit of a release. From downward dog we can bring one hand across, so I'm going to bring my, if I'm mirroring you, I'm going to bring my right hand across and pivot onto my outer right foot for a side plank. An easier option, pivot onto the outer side of the lower leg. Keep this top leg down or keep it lifted, top arm in the sky or on the hip. So if you've got feet, legs extended, my top foot's come over my bottom foot. And you can also, if you want, take that top leg away. About 6 to 8 breaths. And then back to downward dog, and we just repeat on the opposite side. Push the chest, lift the bottom, head heavy, ease into the heels. Left hand across, and then you can pivot onto the outer left side of the foot or the outer left knee. Either you've got your feet crossed and extended, or you're taking that leg away. Look ahead or look up. I'm going to bring that back down and take it into a nice devotion pose, because it's not all about strength, is it? It's also about relaxation and restoration. So I've got knees wide, toes together. You could have knees together for devotion pose, we're all different. You could have a break or a block for your bottom or your forehead if you need it. If you need to bring the floor closer, extend the arms as much as you can. Ease the forehead down. So you want to take about 8 to 10, 12 breaths here to really restore. But again, this is a quick check-in, isn't it? So we haven't got forever, unfortunately. So I'm going to flip this over now. I'd like to do a little boat pose just to check in with quad strength, ab strength. So you could have hands on the floor for boat, under the knees, or arms wide, arms either side of the legs, leaning back and lifting the legs to go further into boat. Some people keep the knees bent, that's fine, it's whatever is a progression for you. Looking up and over the feet. Okay, and I'm going to roll that all the way back down and just take a little inversion here. So you will see toys from my daughter's birthday here on the floor still. So you might like to take a bridge pose, heels just under the bottom, lifting the hips. You can hold the hips, interlace the fingers, you can bring arms overhead. About 8 breaths. That's a good prep. So you can stay here, or you can use it to prep a crab or a wheel, whatever you like to call it. So with that, your feet are going wider. So I know that the camera view is not amazing here. So they're coming up round the sides of your bum almost, your heels, like a frog. Bring them up high. Palms face the ceiling, and then you're going to bring the arms up and over. So the fingertips face the shoulders and the wrists face the top of your mat. Coming into the crown, to the toes, got those slightly grippy fingertips again, and up, up, up. Let the head hang heavy. It's up to you how long you stay here. I'll lower that down. And just take a nice supine twist, knees one way, breathe in, head the other way, breathe out. And again, knees one way, breathe in, head the other way, breathe out. Hook my knees into my chest, or you might make that a little little Ananda Balasana. Happy baby. You might make it a plough. But as I say, it was just a short, quick check-in. So it's sometimes not being able to go into those deeper, stronger poses because we don't have the time to prep. So it's getting into whatever we've got the time to prep to get into. And I hope I offered enough options there for anyone who might not want to try, you know, some of those stronger options. But I was trying to make it also unique a little bit to kind of my practice also. So I'm just taking a few breaths in. So I've come into half lotus. Half lotus can be this. That foot might come up on the thigh, onto the inner thigh. It can be cross-legged or it can be softer still, a leg extended. So we are just having a few breaths here to, just to have that connection after we've re-established some connection physically. Just bring that mind, body, heart and soul together. Let some light in through the third eye, the light of reality, so you can connect to your intuition. Have your intuition as a guiding light, so you're not driven by fear and you're not driven by desire. We've got a full moon energy at the moment, so you can use that to get ahead of what the full moon might surge upon you in terms of change. The full moon might suddenly implement those changes that, or cause you to implement the changes that you haven't implemented this month. So rather than that taking you by surprise, work with the moon's energy today, tomorrow, and use it to help you to implement your changes. You might like to give yourself a little mantra as well. Again, when it's a quick session, it's good to give yourself all the tools that you can to then get off the mat and kind of be in a good state of being. So you might like to give yourself a little mantra, a little word or a sentence that you can take with you off the mat, and you can it's like a equivalent of like a Buddhist bell that kind of brings you back to yourself, brings your mind back to your body. Your mantra can just remind you who you are, remind you what your journey is. Om Shanti. Thank you everyone, I hope you found that useful. Bye bye.